This must be where Kenrick's assistant came to study.
Inquisitor, you may want to see this. Inquisitor, I was going to send word. I found something. This inscription, almost completely faded, but two stood. Felt 60 true before our triumph. A breath in the hunt, and let rest the lowlanders, worthy of the lady's care. The markings and surrounding artifacts date to Ameridan's time. The references and scripts suggest Avar.
What's your theory?
I need to complete a full survey and have Professor Kenrick evaluate the site himself. But this may be a tribute to Heron and Orina, Inquisitor Ameridan's companions.
What happened here?
Ameridan and his companions fought the original Jaws of Hakkon. They were outnumbered, but Ameridan had a sworn duty. Could Ameridan and Telana be skilled enough to slip past the Jaws of Hakkon? What if someone had to buy them time?
If this is the resting place of Heron and Orina, it only remains because the Avar took time to honor them.
Respect for a worthy adversary? It wouldn't be out of place.
What do you know about Heron?
When the Templar Order was first formed, Sir Heron was among its members. He's arguably the most famous of the original Templars, though he was never one of their leaders. He's better known as one of Inquisitor Ameridan's confidants. They'd known each other since youth.
So they were close. Friends.
When Ameridan was made Inquisitor, Heron's position in his inner circle was assumed. A few ballads about them survive. The type with adventures and happy endings. I don't know if they're true. They remind me of my brothers, though.
What can you tell me about Orina?
Orina was an alchemist in Orzammar. It's said she met Ameridan while dealing with a demon, but it's not known why Ameridan was there. Demons aren't common in the deep roads, but they were a problem for the Inquisition at the time. Orina knew she could help, so she joined Ameridan.
If she left Orzammar, that would make her a surfacer.
She turned her back on the stone, though it's said she had few regrets. Some claim she was actually from one of Orzammar's noble families, but who can say? She never used her last name on the surface, and once exiled, the family likely struck her name from personal documents. Professor Kenrick petitioned Orzammar's Shaperate to grant access to their records, but the request was turned down.
What makes you think the inscription refers to Heron and Orina?
It's only a theory, but the age of the markings and surrounding artifacts match the timeline we've established for Ameridan. We know that Ameridan and his companions came into violent contact with the Avar. I found glass fragments in the clay, several with slight veins of discoloration. Blue. Like Templar artifacts.
Templars?
The Templars were a new order in Ameridan's time. Given their small numbers then, few would be found outside the Chantry's reach. It's unusual to find one deep in uncharted territory, unless he traveled here for a purpose, as Heron would have.
What will you do with this information?
Professor Kenrick will expect detailed notes on the location, stone and clay samples, and any trace artifacts I can find. If Ameridan's history is compiled, this could be worth an entire chapter. I might get credit on the inside cover.
Thank you, Colette.
Inquisitor.
May I help you, Inquisitor?
I take...
Fortunately, I convinced them the university...
A spirit on the island held the memories and possessions of Ameridan's lover, a woman named Talana. It told us that Ameridan was here on orders from Emperor Draken himself, and where he went next.
Drusty's dimples. I may have received tenure from that sentence alone. Ameridan had a lover. Talana, you said. The Inquisitor's Lady Mage. There was such debate over whether she existed. And there were orders? This was a request from Draken? This changes everything.
What does it change knowing that Ameridan was on a mission from Emperor Draken?
Everything. One current theory holds that Ameridan was selfishly throwing off his responsibilities to go hunting. Another suggests Draken had him removed or even killed because Ameridan opposed the Navaran Accord. But if this is true, then Ameridan was a loyal servant of Orlais. He was not an embarrassment. He was a patriot protecting Orlais while Draken fought in the Second Blight.
You don't have a problem receiving information from spirits?
It's not ideal, but since you found corroborating physical evidence, I see no serious issues. Any study of great wars and battlefields carries an inherent risk of contact with demons or spirits. When spirits are willing to talk, most historians love the chance of a first-hand report.
You were surprised to hear that Ameridan had a lover?
Yes, this Talana you mentioned. Her existence has been hotly debated. Some scholars took Inquisitor Ameridan's respect for the Chantry to imply that he remained celibate. In ages past, there were stories about him and his lover, a mage. They made it out to be a star-crossed romance. The Chantry silenced the stories strenuously.
When I helped the Avar at Stonebear Hold, we learned that the Jaws of Hakkon once bound their god's soul to a beast. According to the spirits, the dragon Ameridan faced was powerful and accompanied by hostile Avar.
You believe they could be one and the same? But that would mean... Of course! Of course! Brilliant! 800 years ago, the Second Blight threatened a weak Orlais. A perfect time for the Avar to attack. This Avar god dragon could have endangered the Orlesian Empire had Ameridan not stopped it. That explains why he would accept such a dangerous mission. And likely how he died.
How bad would it be if the contemporary Jaws of Hakkon bound their god to a dragon again?
With Orlais still recovering from the Civil War and the Mage-Templar conflict, not to mention the remaining demon rifts and Corypheus himself, a high dragon given malice and magic by an Avar god spirit could, hypothetically, destroy much of Orlais. At least, I hope that was hypothetically.
You're not concerned about the literal existence of an Avar god?
Not particularly. If the Jaws of Hakkon once bound their god to a dragon, it is likely just a powerful spirit. That isn't to downplay the important cultural significance to the Avar, but magic does not equate godhood. Every blight comes from the old gods, which are also dragons corrupted by some outside influence. Sometimes I wonder if we really know what we mean by gods.
It seems Inquisitor Ameridan saved Orlais 800 years ago. It's time to honor his legacy. The spirits said to follow the river to the north, and something about spires or spikes.
Up the river, the scouts have had trouble with Hakkonites up there. I'll continue my research, but for now, your guess is as good as mine.
What do you need me to do next, Professor?
That spirit on the island said something about Ameridan going upriver to, someplace with spires? While you search upriver, I'll continue studying these buckles. That, sounded better in my head.
I'll speak with you later.